Do you want to hear the story of your bear? I asked Cole one night while he was sitting on his bed. It was already long past bedtime, but it was the weekend. In his arms, he held his old stuffed bear, floppy-limbed and faded, its fur rubbed to velvet, and one eye reduced to some loose bits of thread. Cole wrinkled his nose. Can I have a story I don't know? I could tell he was trying not to hurt my feelings. I leaned back against the wall behind his bed. Maybe I should tell you the real story. I know the real story. You've told me about my great-great-grandfather and the real Winnie the Pooh millions of times. I never told you all of it, I said. Cole did not look convinced. Why not? Because I didn't think you were ready. We looked at each other. Are you ready? Is it scary? Asked Cole. I could not lie. At times, but we can stop whenever you want. Cole arranged his checked blanket around him, pulling its edge up to his bear's chin. Proceed, he said in a serious way. Part 1. The Woods. In the middle of the woods was a tree, and at the bottom of the tree was a hole, and out of the hole poked a big black pad of a nose, which sniffed the air to see whether anyone was around. It smelled like a fine spring day, like the earth was growing. Next came 2 great paws, followed by a pair of gnawing eyes, and a broad, bushy back you could ride on. And just like that, a fully grown black bear stumped from her den under the tree. After taking a moment to lumber around, Mama gave a wide yawn. Come out, dear. A tiny cub crept from the hollow. She perked her ears and raised her nose and spun round in wonder. Our den is inside the tree? There she was, your bear. This was Bear's first time out of doors. Though she were like most bears, she would never know what a doors was. Mama came over and licked her cub behind the ears. Our den is inside a tree. She led her over to a different trunk. Our tree is inside the woods. The woods smells like foods. The cub's nose pulled her about, over bumpy roots, over a rotting log, and up to a flower with a bright yellow scent. Which she ate. She found some bitter green berries and ate them up and lapped water from a muddy puddle. She discovered a great mossy rock that she tried to climb, but she kept falling off. She gnawed at the bark of a tree. Dizzy with the newness of it all, she returned to rest against Mama in her sweet, musky fur. It was a very good place to think. While the birds sang to one another about the wind, Mama groomed her cub by picking over the top of her head with her teeth. A question welled up inside her bear. Is anything bigger than the woods? Mama's nose twitched and her belly shook. I don't think so, she breathed, and her breath smelled of blackberries. What's the highest up any bear has ever gone, wondered your bear. This was later that spring, as she stood with Mama at the base of a white trunk tree. She had only just learned to climb. Well, Mama admitted, that's an unusual question. She scratched her nose with her paw, and dropped her chin. I've never climbed this tree. Bear sneezed impatiently. How high? Mama gave the tree a side rub. She stood right up against it and pushed her front leg straight and looked from one branch to another. See that crooked limb way up there? She pointed with her chin. The cub's eyes searched. No, and then, yes. Mama stretched her neck. I'd say that is higher than any bear has ever gone. I can do that, decided Bear. Mama lowered herself back to all fours. You can you? You'd have to be very brave to climb that high. So your bear, she started to climb. She climbed and climbed. She climbed and climbed. She climbed and climbed and climbed. She climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed. She climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed. She climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed, and her legs were beginning to ache when a gigantic black fly landed right on the tip of her nose. Please don't, Bear wiggled her snout. I'm climbing higher than any bear has ever gone. Well, the fly had never been spoken to in the same way by another creature. He was touched. With a tiny buzz, he hovered aside. Get back! And on Bear rose through a cool, earthy patch of air. With her legs wobbling, she rested her face against the white bark and gathered her strength. And your bear climbed, and she climbed, and she climbed. Then she grabbed hold of the limb and got her chin up onto it, then one back paw, then the other, and pulled herself onto its crook. She shut her eyes and let her tongue hang all the way out of her mouth. The highest any bear had ever gone. Even then, that was the kind of bear your bear was. Her ears stood up. Mama's voice, distant and faint, sounded mad. But Bear looked over the edge. She couldn't see Mama at all. It was a very, very, very long way down. All at once, her hair started to shake. How am I going to get down? She wailed. I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.